Hi, it's me, Joanna Key. I'm just going to give a few minutes to let people join. And if you're joining and you're live or you're watching this afterwards, I'm going to go ahead and say, please tell me if there's any technical issues because I am still figuring out some of this stuff. So if you're watching this and you're like, wow, that went weird, or I can't hear you, or there's echoey things like happened before, please let me know. But thank you for joining me today. This is Tea with Key, Industry Insight with myself, Joanna Key. I am a professional script reader, writer, actor, and producer, and I'm so happy that you're here today. We're going to be talking about a topic that has been coming up for me a lot, actually, in the past couple weeks. And so when I was thinking about what we should talk about today, I was like, oh, well, this would be perfect. And that's about making a passion project. There's this word, passion, that's just kind of thrown around a lot. And I was like, I think that I should talk about that because, that's what I just did with my film Protectress, which is out on the film festival circuit right now. So I just wanted to share some insight on that from my perspective, being on the other end of it after having made one, and any questions you might have. And really today's topic, I think, will be a little bit more specific to actors making their kind of dream projects. But I really think it's universal, a lot of the stuff I'm going to offer. So especially if you have acting friends or you yourself are an actor, whatever, please share this because I feel so much that we as artists and creators, we need to help shape our world and the way the industry is. If there's, I feel really ironically passionate about this topic. So that's what we'll be talking about today. So we'll just give a few more minutes to let people join if they want to hop on. And if you're watching this afterwards, I'm happy to see you here too. Well, I guess I always say that and you're seeing me. So I guess I'm happy you're seeing me, which is weird. Okay, I'm going to drink my tea because I need something to wake up. It's my favorite tea. If you don't remember by now, my favorite tea is green tea. And this is the one I'm drinking today. Let's see if I can show it to you in the camera. So this is called, can you see that? That is Kilogram Tea and Organic Emerald Spring. So that's pretty cool, like bags in here. See, it's like a big bag. And then they're the pyramid tea bags. And I really like this tea, but I like a green tea anyways. And I'm the type of person where, like it says on here, boil water, put it in the water for 4 to 5 minutes. I like my tea really strong, and I'm probably some tea person, is going to be like, you're doing it wrong. I just like leaving the tea bag in there. I don't know. I like strong tea. So I guess I'm probably getting the flavors wrong, but either way, I think it's wonderful. So hi, I just saw somebody joined. How are you? If you want to say hi, please do, because for some reason I can't see who's here. So your name doesn't pop up all the time. So if you want to say hi, say hi. And if not, you don't have to. So today we're talking about making a passion project. And before we get into that, I just wanted to give you some little updates on what I'm up to. I have some exciting news. As always, I'm reading scripts, reading things, and I've been writing, of course. I did an interview. It's more like a chat on a podcast called The Loudmouth Report with Tennyson Steed, I think is how I say his last name, and also and Dan Haggerty. Let me see if I can link it on here. Loudmouth Report. Oh, there it is. There. Okay, so if you want to see I recorded a podcast with them, and then I also put it out on Facebook Live. So if you want to see that interview, we talked about my film Protectress, we talked about screenplays, we talked about stunts and safety on set, and we talked about what I'm about to go into, and I felt like we needed to expand upon it a little bit more. So, hi Lori, it's good to see you. So if you want to hear especially about stunts and safety on set, Please watch the Loudmouth Report. Those guys, they're awesome, and we just got into some really good information there, especially if you're wanting to make a project or you're involved as an actor in a project that has action in it or stunts or anything. There's some really good information there, and obviously I talk about screenplays if you're looking at wanting to know basics for screenwriting and stuff that script readers look out for. So check that out. You can see the Facebook Live video, and then the podcast will be released in a couple weeks. And I'm in pre-production for a short film, which I'm very excited about. It's called A Period Piece, and I will link the page here. It is a female empowerment short. Let's see if I can... there it is. There it is. So if you want to check out that film, we just put the Facebook page up today. So if you want to go on there, and then we'll post more information. But it's a female empowerment film. It's directed by Sylvia Ray. Written, directed, produced, and starring diverse women, which I'm super excited about. And we'll be filming in just a couple weeks. So I'm helping produce that, which is really fun. And you'll hear more about that as we go on. And then I have another really cool two more announcements, and some of you might have already heard this. So my film Protectress has won 2 awards actually, and one of them I've already announced, and the other one I'm about to announce. So we won Best Fantasy of the Year with Top Shorts, which I am so excited about. So Top Shorts is this festival where there's films that submit every single month. So they have a monthly festival, and then from all of the films that are submitted every month, then there's a yearly competition from all the people that won from each month. And so we were competing against everybody that had submitted throughout the entire year, and we won Best Fantasy of the Year, which it's kind of unbelievable to me. So I'm so happy about that. And then just yesterday or the day before, we got notified that we won another award with the Honolulu Film Awards. We won, I hope I say it right, the Aloha Accolade Award. And so that's super exciting, and it makes me want to eat fruit. Like, I feel like I want to eat pineapple whenever I talk about the Honolulu Film Awards. So yay, we just won 2 awards, which I'm like, oof. I honestly, I'm just kind of blown away. So that's what's going on with me. And I put the link in the comments if you want to look up our film, if you want to see the trailer or anything. We have a bunch of upcoming screenings. Actually, one is coming up this Saturday, the 19th. We're screening in Ontario. And that is with Geek Fest Film Festivals at Comic-Con Revolution. So if you're going there, please check it out. And let me know what you think, if you see it, if you're going. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there because I'm going to be on set, but I will be thinking of everybody that's there and hoping that you like my film. So I mean, and that is a really great segue into today's topic, which is making a passion project, which is what I did with my film Protectress. On the Loudmouth Report, when I was talking to Tenny and Dan on there was a topic that came up at the very end that I was like, gosh, and I was talking also about this passion, and how you need passion to make a film, or really to produce a film. With Jenna Edwards, who's another, she's a fantastic filmmaker. She has a great indie filmmaking course. If you're interested in it, please look at that. I have so many links I'm putting up in here. I will link to her Indie Movie Mastery. There we go. Indie Movie Mastery is her course, and Jenna Edwards, she has produced so much, and it's something that she and I have touched upon quite a bit, which is that you need to have passion behind what you're doing, particularly as a producer, because as a producer, you live with the film for a long time. And so, if you're interested in making your own passion project, be that as a, writer, actor, director, which means that you're going to be producing your own project, you need that passion behind it. And, I feel like it's kind of a cliche, because we can say, it takes passion or whatever. And it's, to me, in my mind, I'm like, well, what does that exactly mean? What are we telling people that they need? Okay, great. How can I just get that passion? And so that's what I wanted to address today. And specifically, like, how did that come forward and how did I make my own passion project? Because it's not like I was just sitting around and I was like, what am I passionate about? It didn't happen that way. And I thought of some questions and some things to kind of help guide you if you want to make your own passion project as you go in the process. And please, if you have any questions, as always, pop them in the comments. Even if this is afterwards, I monitor the comments and I'm here to help, whatever I can answer for you. So let me talk about my film Protectress, which you have probably already heard me talk about. So it is a fantasy action, and I wrote, I produced, and I star in it. It's out on the film festival circuit right now. Like I said, we just won a couple more awards. It's been doing amazingly. Directed by America Young, and so there's so many reasons behind why I made this project. I'll tell you a little bit of a story, that kind of was, I guess, the first little seedling that kind of, and then turned into what it is today. And it's still going because it's a proof of concept for a feature. I had gone to an audition, and I had been out of the acting game for a little bit. I needed to take some personal time for myself. And I got back into the auditioning game. And I remember it was winter. And this particular character called for a short skirt and heels. And so I was cold. I remember I was sitting in, if you're an actor, maybe you're a producer or director and you've been in LA and they have these, or New York or, bigger film markets, they will have these casting offices that it's a building with a bunch of rooms, and then there's chairs or there's couches just for actors to sit on. And then in each room, there's different auditions going on. So I was sitting on these couches in the middle of this building with all these other actresses in short skirts and heels. And I remember I had my jacket over my legs because I was cold, and I was just uncomfortable. And it was the winter time, so it was around the holidays, and my family was at home while I was sitting there. And it was, as auditions do, they take longer sometimes. And I was just I was cold, I was hungry, I wasn't with my family. And there was just a certain point, it's just something started to hit me. And I was like, what am I doing here? It just started to hit me. And this particular project, when I had submitted for it, I remember I was looking at the roles, and I don't do nudity as an actor, but I liked the project, and some of the roles required nudity. So, but I liked the synopsis, and so I submitted for a role that didn't require nudity, but the role they called me in for required nudity, and so I emailed back and I was like, I don't, I submitted for this other role, because of that reason, but I'd be happy to, audition for anything else, or if you're, open, to me doing the role without doing nudity. And they said, oh yes, we're rethinking it. Go ahead and come in. So, so I'm sitting in there and I start to have this thought, of what am I really doing here? What is this? I actually, I'm cold, I want to be with my family right now. I never wear short skirts. That's not even me. I would never really want to play this role. So it was going through my head. And then they finally called me in. I think I waited an hour, and I got in there, sat in the chair, and the first thing they said was, so you do nudity? No. And I don't know how much male actors don't have to deal with this as much. That whole nudity thing, which is a whole thing we could talk about, but we're not going there today. And when I was walking out of there, I was just like, this is not what I want to be doing. Why am I wasting my time and my energy? I could have been with my family, I could have been doing something else, but I'm here. And there's just something that spurred in me. And it was a combination of many things, but that was like the tipping point. And so Protectress came from my frustration. My frustration with things that I had to deal with as an actor, things that I saw as a script reader, the roles that were being written for women. I run a Twitter account. It's at FemCharacters, I think. Let me see if I can link it here. I probably can't, but if you just look up at FemCharacters, I just put it in the comments if you want to look that up. I had started this Twitter account at that point called at FemCharacters, where I tweet out all of the stupid, hi Chanel, hi! I tweet out all of the stupid casting notices that I see for women. And so my frustration with the industry, the lack of diversity that I saw, and I'm half Asian. I have only gotten to audition for a half Asian role like one time in my entire I've been in the industry a long time. So there was a lot of frustration. And with that frustration, I used that to help propel me to make my passion project. So there's this saying that I don't know where it came from, but it's something like, if you see a problem or you're frustrated about something going on, you're probably the one that should be doing something about it. And that is when I started to do something about it. Your frustration and your anger, it's great actually, because it fuels you for something. I feel like there's a reason why each of us gets frustrated and notices certain things going on. You have a fire inside of you and you should use that fire. I mean, that is passion. If you just let it sit there, it can turn into other things that I think that are not so healthy. You just you could get depressed. You kind of get like a negative Nancy. It's just, you can turn into other things, but if you can turn it into something else, and that's what I did. And so, the first thing that I would just offer anybody that wants to make a passion project, but they're not really sure, okay, I'd love to do that, but how do I find that? I would look at the things that you're frustrated with, especially if you're in the industry. All of the stuff that I wanted to see changed that I couldn't stand about the stuff that I was seeing as an actor, as a script reader, I made with this project. Strong women represented realistically, diversity, women in action, and some other things that you'll see later on in the feature. In the feature for Protectress, there is an Asian male who's a romantic interest, because you rarely see that. It's ridiculous. So you can probably feel, I have there's this energy behind what I say because that's my passion and I'm doing something about it. So there's one thing to notice, the things that you want to see changed, but there's another thing to do something about it. And that action piece is where the passion comes in, and that's where people get attracted to you. So, I talked about in a couple other episodes of Tea with Key. If you wanted to take a look at, there's one, it's called 5 Things That Helped My Film Be a Success. The first thing I talked about was passion. And that is what helped attract people to my project. Having a good team is essential. And your passion will help attract the people that feel the same way about the issues that you do. So if you're clear on something, so for example, I'm going to talk about America Young, who's the director for my project Protectress, and she's also attached for the feature. You find people that are in line with your goal and your mission, because you get clear on, I'm making this for this reason. So I was very clear that I wanted to make a female hero who was diverse and who portrayed strength as a woman, not as a man who happens to be in a woman's body. So if you've seen Protectress, you probably get that feeling. There are certain things that are really important for me to portray on screen. And so when you're clear on that and you have that vision of what you want to see, then you'll attract other people. that want to do that same thing. And that's how you can help find the right team. But that comes from your own clarity. That comes from, that passion that rises up inside of you. So I hope that makes sense, all of that. So your anger about things, your frustration about things that you see, your passion is actually behind that. And I just so encourage you to really look at that. You can even make a list. It's this is all the crap that annoys me about, what I see in the industry or somewhere, even if it's not specifically in Hollywood, it could just be some misrepresentation or something going on in the world that you're I can't stand this. I need to make something about it. And that, just, there's a reason why you feel that. You're meant to do something with it. So that is the first thing I wanted to talk about. I'm just reading. I have my little notebook here. So if you see me looking down, that's what that's for. Okay. So I talked about attracting, how it helps to attract your team, because they will feel your passion. And it helps you talk about it too. I mean, I have no problem talking about Protectress because I know exactly why I did it and what's behind it. There's something else about pitching, which I'm not going to get into pitching, but really effective pitches, they have a certain energy, and that is the passion that somebody has for the project. It's the same thing as, finding your team. You will find the right people to connect with. Whenever you are very clear inside of yourself of what your message is and why you're making what you're making. If you can talk about it. I mean, I could talk about Protectress all day, but I won't. So I want to talk about some other kind of cliches or phrases that I've heard regarding making your own project, that I kind of agree with and I kind of don't. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this thing that you've probably heard, which is use the resources that you have. Use what you have. So you might have heard, okay, if you want to get into filmmaking, you want to make a project, you're tired of sitting on your ass, use what you have. Use your iPhone. You have your house, you have your apartment. Use your whatever. So I agree with that, and I don't. So and I will tell you why. So let me talk about. I'm just going to use my film as an example because that's what I've done. So with Protectress, when I had my idea to make Protectress, I did not know anything about stunts. I knew nothing about sword fighting. I had not produced a project that had included stunts or visual effects. I had not done anything with that kind of the budget that I would like to do. So I basically kind of trumped this advice. At the time, I didn't even think about it. My focus was on why did I want to make what I wanted to make, and something else which I'll talk about later. I don't fully agree when it comes to making your passion project. I don't think that you should use the resources that you have. I don't think that you should take that as a rule that you go by. I think it's detrimental to you as an artist because you don't grow. It's in the beginning, whenever I was just starting to make my own projects, I did do this. I made some small things, where we did exactly that. We used what we had, we filmed in each other's houses and our apartments or whatever. And that was all, okay, a learning process. But when it came to my passion project, it was dream, dream for the, go, what do they say? Shoot for the moon and you land among the stars if you don't hit it, whatever it is. And that's what I did. And that is what I recommend for you. If you are only concerned with the resources that you have, or that's all that you're considering, you only can go so far. How far can you actually go? I mean, it's I don't know, if you work out, they say that those last reps where it's hard, that's where the growth really happens. And for myself, as a filmmaker, as an actor, as in everything in this industry, my confidence has grown, not because I used the resources that I had, but because I said, what is possible? And even the things that I thought were impossible happened. For example, we got an armorer for Protectress, which was totally out of, I was just well, I know I need armor, so I started to learn how to make armor. And in that process, I ended up meeting somebody that knew an armorer. Our costume designer, her name is Gabrielle Schiabarassi. She's fantastic. She knows an armorer. And so we ended up getting armor. There's just, I fully agree. When you're making a passion project, it limits you if you're only like, what do I have? This is all I can see in front of me right now. And so this is what I'm going to use. But there is a whole world out there that you're shutting yourself off to, whole world of possibilities that you have no idea that could happen for you. And so that piece of advice, when you're making a passion project, yes, you need to look at what you have, but don't limit yourself there. Don't let that be the kind of guiding rule for, I can't do this, because of this. Let yourself dream and let yourself create. And that's actually advice that I give to my screenwriting clients. When they're writing something and they're not sure, about, okay, well, this description isn't as succinct as I want it to be, or the dialogue isn't as polished as I want it to be, whatever. Just write it. You just have to get it out on the page and then you can edit it. So same thing for you. You're creating a project. You just need to dream, and you need to dream and not put any walls on yourself, because then it's like, okay, now what can I do? What do I need? And this is actually leading into my next, one of my next things. But you know what? We're talking about screenwriting. Let's talk about the writing. Let's talk about that. So, there's something else. Obviously, when you're making a film, you need a script. You do need a script. So if you're thinking you don't, then you do. If anybody's out there, I could talk about that, but I'm not. Okay, so there's another kind of phrase that I've heard thrown around that actually I didn't totally understand at first until I started making my project, and it's write what you know, which you might have heard if you're interested in any kind of writing. Really, they say that write what you know, and this relates to passion because it goes to, like, I wrote my own film. I did not consciously set out in this mindset of, I'm going to write what I know. What I wrote from was what I was frustrated with and what I actually wanted to play. So one of the questions that I asked myself, or that I was like, what is it that I really want to play? Like, what is my dream role? What is my dream project that, like, I would love to see myself, that I would want to watch? Like, even if I wasn't in it, I would want to watch this. And that helps. So again, all of the stuff that you're attracted to, like if I love Harry Potter, I love tea, these things I can talk about because I love these things. And so it's the same thing for your project, for your passion project. What do you love? What would you want to watch? Whatever you would want to watch, you're just going to naturally have a certain energy and a certain passion for it, because you're like, yeah, I want to see my own film. I want to see it made because I want to watch it. So for me, it was both that. I thought about, what is something that I would want to see, and also what role do I want to play? And so, oh, hi, Bob. And so those two things help to guide me. So, for example, Protectress, one of my favorite shows of all time is Xena. I love Xena. And I really got down to, what is it that I really loved about her? And also the thing that was frustrating me about, things that are going on today, which is that, we don't get to see that many woman warrior roles, and somebody that's inspiring, and to me, somebody that was realistic, that, when I was young and I watched Xena, I loved it because it helped me feel strong. Like, it felt attainable to me. Like, she wasn't dependent on a male character, or, there's so many things. But that's the kind of thing that I wanted to see. So that's what I made. I remember, when I would be going through the breakdowns as an actor, and there'd be certain roles that would really excite me, and I'd be like, I really want to get called in for that, and I'd see like the action roles, or I'd see the woman warrior roles, or like a fantasy things, like, oh, that seems like so fun, and I would want to get called in for it. And, obviously it didn't pan out, whatever those roles were whenever I saw them, but I wrote it. I wrote my own role. And so when they say, that phrase, write what you know, once I started to write Protectress, I started to realize that is exactly what I was doing. And it didn't come from, I don't know, I have dogs. I know about dogs and how to take care of dogs, so I'm going to write about dogs. It wasn't a linear thing like that. It actually came from my passion, write what I know. What I know is that I love fantasy, I love strong women, and that's what I wrote. And so for you, if you're thinking about, what is it, what is that passion thing that you want to make, that you want to write? What is it that you love? What is it that you love? If you're an actor, what's your dream role? What would you love to play? That just like makes your heart sing, that gets you so excited. And that is your passion right there, and it doesn't have to be anything like, I'm a woman warrior, it's like, maybe I just wanna, I would love to work with dogs. I'm talking about dogs because my dogs are right here. Maybe I want to work with dogs. and then maybe that makes you excited. And, it doesn't have to be like this huge, big thing. Oh, hi, Daniel. Oh, it's good to see you. I hope it's going well at work and you're not going to get caught. Okay, so write what you know. What exactly does that mean? For me, what I've understood it to mean on this side of making a passion project is that it means writing from something or making something that you are passionate about, something that you love, something that's one of your favorite things. And so this is going to lead into our next topic, because I'm talking about writing, but you might not be a writer. Maybe you're a director, maybe you're a producer, or maybe you're an actor and you just don't want to write. So for me, my career and my goals are that I do want to do that. I've always been a writer, and I've always known I wanted to do more than just act. And I am doing that now. Maybe you don't want to write though, and this goes into the next thing, for, making your passion project, what you've really pinned down, these are the things that I'm passionate about. These are the things that I would like to see, either, my film that I'm making, in my web series, whatever it is that you decide to create. If you're not a writer, this is a great thing, because the next thing to identify for yourself when you're making a passion project is, who do I need? What do I not know? What do I not know? What do I need to know? And that is so important, because that's going to help you form your team. So for example, for me, I did write my own project, but I also knew that I don't know stunts. I don't know how to work with a sword yet. I need to know those things. So that was one of the first things that I did while I was writing. I sought out a fight choreographer and a stunt coordinator. So we had Don Sam Alden was our fight choreographer, our stunt coordinator. And, I trained for 4 months before we shot. So I sought out the team members that were going to fill in the gaps for where my, I didn't have a strength in that area. So who do I need to help me with that? So for you, if you're an actor, if you're a producer, if you're a director, and you don't want to write, but you know what you're passionate about, then you know what you need. You need to find a writer that is passionate about that same thing as you. So that's the next step. The first thing you need in any production is a solid script. So for me, I wrote my own thing because I am a writer. But for you, if you're not that, you don't want to write your own thing, and you're not passionate about it, and it's going to show in your writing if you're not, then find a writer. There will be somebody out there. There are so many writers. And so that's the next thing, if you're passionate about it, then you will attract somebody. You will attract somebody that speaks the same language as you, that has that same, just like joy, that their heart sings about the same thing. So that's, looking at what do you need to learn and who do you need to help you with that. one of the things, like I hadn't done anything on the scale that I had done for Protectress. And like it's bigger than anything that I've done. And so I knew also that I needed support and I needed insight along the way. And so one of those people that was really helpful for me there was a couple people, and one of them was actually the editor of my film. It's Jenna! Oh, hi, Jenna! Oh my gosh, of course you popped in on this topic. I was just talking about you at the beginning. So I was talking about the editor of my film, Protectress. Austin Nordell has been my friend for over 10 years. Kind of ridiculous how long we've known each other. And you also need that kind of, I was like, you just need support. You need people around you that help to give you that. Hi, I saw your little comment. There's like a delay for 20 or 30 seconds. Just remember, so if it's like, oh, what is she talking about? And I'm responding to you like 20 to 30 seconds after your comment. So having somebody that is right there that sees your potential and that will support you along the way is really important also for your passion project, because your passion is really specific to you. Like people aren't going to be as excited. Some people will be as excited about Xena as me, and other people just won't. There's people on my crew had not even heard about Xena, which is like crazy to me. But that's why it's specific to you. That is why you are making your project. That is why you are needed to make that. And that, you need other people that are right there with you. But also the other thing I want to say about that is nobody, and you cannot expect anybody else to be as passionate about your project other than you. And I would say that if there are other people on your project that you feel like are more into it than you are, there might be a problem. That's the one thing that drove me is, throughout making my film is like, I know throughout, this whole thing, nobody else is going to see it the way I do and feel the same way I do. And that's kind of why, I talked about how I won a couple awards at the beginning, when I'm like, wow, we're getting recognition for this. Like, it's amazing. But I also don't expect that, because the thing that I expect is that I'm excited about my film and that I like to watch my film. I don't expect anybody else to. As strange as that sounds, if you have that expectation, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. Because if you're just focused on like, I love this, like I just love this, and I just want to make it the best it can be, then people feel that. I think they feel that on the back end. Oh, I see Daniel has a question. Should you put passion in your show Bible, or should it be basically factual and informational? That's a kind of a difficult so I'm not sure if you mean actually putting the word passion in your show Bible, because here's the thing, passion is an energy. So it's not like, like when I was talking about my passion project, like if I was talking to somebody about Protectress, when I was pitching directors to see who was going to be a fit for it, I just talked about it. I didn't say, I'm really passionate about this, people will just feel it. So my answer to that is, if you just create it from your love of it, your passion will come through as long as you have it in you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to make sure that people know, because people will feel it. So I hope that answers your question. And Daniel, I would really recommend that you look up some examples of show Bibles. I think it's still out there. Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers, they actually put their show Bible out for people to look at. That would be a really great one for you to look at, because you talk about a project that had a vision and passion behind it, like holy crap. I mean, you can feel it when you watch it. So I would recommend that if you want to check out that show Bible, that would be a good one to look at. Yay, yay. Jenna says, absolutely, the right people will feel your passion. Yes, yes. And that's actually, like, I love that. That's how you attract your team. That's how you attract your people. You're not meant to work with everybody, and not everybody's meant to watch your project, but the right people will. The right people will. And you will just set yourself up for failure if you're like, I want everybody to like me and work with me. I want everybody to watch my film. It's impossible. Like, it's impossible. Even people that have like thousands, millions of, gazillions of dollars to make movies, they don't expect that because it's not reality. So you don't set yourself up for failure in that way. You're welcome, Daniel. I hope that was helpful. And if you look up that show Bible, let me know. How it went and if you found it, because I think it's still out there. This is the other thing I want to talk about is, and this is the last thing, is when you make your passion project, I think it just boosts your confidence. Not even, like, you don't even have to wait necessarily until it's done to start feeling like a change in yourself, because, you are making your own dreams happen. And that is one of the most amazing feelings, like I was saying, when I was an actor, just, doing my acting thing, and I wasn't creating I wasn't thinking about, the stuff I was making some small things, but I wasn't even dreaming as big as I could. I was just doing the thing like I talked about at the beginning, using my resources and shooting little things in people's houses, but I didn't dream bigger. And when I dreamt bigger and I made something happen, there's just this settledness and a groundedness and a different energy that came in. And that is because I did it. And I didn't have to wait for somebody to give me the permission or the opportunity, because I gave it to myself. And then you're like, wow, like, what else can I do? And it doesn't mean that you're not afraid. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be obstacles, because there are always going to be something. But you just have a certain confidence. Your view shifts on the industry. Oh, Jenna says there's a huge shift when you take charge of your life. Yes, yes. And Jenna is a perfect example of this. If you guys have not followed her, she's got this amazing blog, because she is actually like traveling the United States right now, living out one of her dreams, traveling in a teardrop trailer. So please check it out. And Jenna, if you want to pop your website in there so people can look at it, so they can find you. I linked to your Indie Movie Mastery earlier. I don't know if you saw that or not. So yeah, and here's Daniel. Daniel says, my script concerns animal abuse, and I am incredibly passionate about that subject, so I need to be careful not to be preachy when writing the show Bible. I hope you know what I mean by that. Yes, I do, Daniel. I do. Yes. Okay, so I'm actually vegan. So you're talking to somebody who speaks your language. I would not worry about being preachy. I think that when you worry about, I'm going to come off this way, I'm going to come off that way, again, that's when you start to limit your creativity, and you start to kind of silence your own voice, because it's like, oh, well, I can't say that because I'm going to sound this way. Somebody's going to think this. Somebody's going to think that. You just do whatever is in your heart. Write whatever is in your heart. And also be open to feedback, But I would not edit yourself because you're like, I am going to come off this way. Somebody's going to react this way. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example, okay? My project. Somebody that watched my film actually told me that there's a certain weapon that I use in my film, which will go as a secret because it's a secret weapon. So if you've seen my film, don't say anything about it. There's a secret weapon in it, and somebody, it's an Asian weapon. Somebody had told me that I was not Asian enough to use it. So, which actually, it's like, I'm half Taiwanese. And one of the reasons why I made my film is because there's such a lack of representation of, diverse characters and mixed characters. Like, I'm half Asian. I rarely get to see somebody that is actually half Asian and said that they're half Asian on screen, and especially a hero, and especially an action hero. And so, if I was worried about what somebody might say versus I chose that weapon for a very specific reason, my film would not be the same. And Yeah, I know, Jenna. I know, but you know what? Guess what? So even though, like, if somebody makes some kind of comment like that, it actually fuels you. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a feedback cycle. So yes, it doesn't mean things don't hurt. It doesn't mean that you won't get feedback or things from people that don't agree with you. There is always going to be somebody that does not agree with you. There just always will be. I mean, that's why we are people. Like, everybody's different, and that's great. But you can use that. You use that to fuel you. And so when I received that comment, I was like, oh, I was hurt and I cried. But then I was like, but this is exactly why I need to make this. Because people have these views, and they don't even, for this specific example, they didn't even realize how this is racist, and so it's like, this is why I need to keep doing what I'm doing. So, oh, good, Daniel. I'm so glad that it's helpful. So yeah, don't edit yourself. You're gonna be great. And I love, like, that you are, like, don't tamp down your passion. That's what it is. That's what, like, don't put a lid on it. Like, shh, let whatever you want to say flow. And then if somebody doesn't get it, they don't get it, because somebody's not going to get it. Yeah. Jenna says, I totally get that. I almost need more no's in my life. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we say that, and then the rejection comes, and we're like, oh, it hurts my heart. Yes. It's hard, yeah. But it's such a vulnerable thing, because it is your passion. And so I think that's a really good thing. I really appreciate you bringing that up, Daniel and Jenna, because your passion is you. And I think that's another reason why it can give you confidence when you put it out there and you start getting a response to it. It doesn't even have to do necessarily with the response, but just because, you're not trying to fit into somebody else's something anymore. You're presenting you. Like, this is me, and this is what I want to offer the world. And when you do that, and you can, and you're like, wow, I can do this, and I'm not, like, people aren't running at my door and, knocking me down and, anything like that. It's like, I can be myself in this world more. And so that's kind of like on another kind of spiritual level, kind of thing, but it gives you that confidence. And I think it just fuels you even more for what you want to do, which is what's happened for me. Oh, hi, Bella. I'm so glad that you're here. Jenna says, I think it's so important when you have a controversial topic or character that you focus on the character's journey. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because every story, if you're making a film, it's about the character. It's about the character and the conflict that they go through. So, yeah, I mean, if you haven't, oh gosh, what's that film? Maybe you guys know, on Netflix. Daniel, maybe you've seen it. Oakjaw? Is it Oakjaw? It has Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and it's about the super pig, that, like, she has to save her super pig. It just, like, if you haven't seen it, I think it's Oakjaw. Let me see. Oakjaw? It is Oakjaw. There it is. Oakjaw. If you haven't seen that, first, then you should see it, because it's just, there's so much heart in it, but it's actually got I was so surprised that it's actually got this animal rights message in it, even about, like, kind of veganism, which was like, so if you watch that, especially you, Daniel, you should watch it. I feel like you should watch it, because if you just watch it and you're like, wow, if they had tamped down their message on this and their passion for this subject, it would just not be the same. It would not be the same. So yeah. Yes, and Jenna says, totally hurts, but so motivating at times. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say with that, I think it's important as an artist and as you are working, to make your projects, that you let yourself feel that hurt. Because I think until you let yourself really feel it fully, if you kind of numb yourself out to it, then you can lose your passion for it. You're sensitive for a reason. You feel those things for a reason. And it, again, like, it just kind of fuels you. It hurts and it fuels you at the same time. So that's what I wanted to say today. I just would love to see other people make their dreams happen. Everybody is so unique and so specific in the things and who they are and the things that they love and their favorite stuff and, all of it. And that's for a reason. Even when it comes down to, like I said at the beginning, the things that frustrate you. So, let that inform you for what you should be doing if you want to make a passion project. Oh, thank you, Jenna. So sweet. So if you have a friend or you have a filmmaker, an actor who wants to make their own stuff, feel free to tag them in this video. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about, anything. Like I said, I am in the development process for the feature film for Protectress, and Protectress is out on a film festival run right now. So if you go to the website, here, I'll just pop it in again. You can see our trailer, and then you can see, our list of upcoming screenings, which one is, like I said, this Saturday. So if nobody has any questions, I'll just see. I know there's like a 20 or 30 second delay before we log off here. Let me know if you have any more questions you'd like me to ask, or you'd like me to answer. And Jen has a comment. I hope we'll. Oh, I think it got sent before you finish typing. I hate it when that happens. I hate it when that happens in a text and somebody's like starting to write back already because I'm like, no, I'm not done. Yes. Jenna has a fantastic, I mentioned at the beginning, and I'm going to say it again now. Jenna is a fantastic teacher. She's a wonderful producer, and she's giving you everything that she has ever learned in indie movie mastery. So if you want to make your own project, please check it out. Go to her course, and there's a Facebook group, and like Jenna's wonderful, and she does like live videos, so you can talk to Jenna and get more information. Okay, so Daniel has concerning passion. I've cried writing scenes in this script to the point where I actually had to stop and finish later. It's very emotional. Daniel, I know it's weird that I'm smiling. I feel, but I am really happy to hear that. Like if you're not moved by your own writing, by your own story, how can you expect somebody else to be? Like, that is beautiful. That is your emotion. That is your energy. That is your passion. That's getting into your writing. And I have to tell you, that is what happened to me when I was writing Protectress. Protectress is a drama. And that, like, I had a box of tissues, next to my laptop, and yeah, I would cry, and that's totally normal. That's totally normal, and that's actually really beautiful. And I'm just like, I just feel like I just want to honor you for like feeling so much, and especially as a man, like, that is so amazing. Like, thank you for sharing that, Daniel, and that is, I just want to say that's perfect. I think you're doing everything right. So that's wonderful. Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, then we will go ahead and end for today. Thank you so much for joining me. So next week, like I said, we're doing this as a weekly Facebook Live, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific. I will be back next week on May 23rd. And I haven't decided the topic yet. I keep thinking I want to analyze a script for you guys so that you can kind of see me talk about it in real time. So I haven't chosen which script that will be yet, but I think that's what I'm going to do. If there's something specific you would like me to talk about, or if there's a certain script that you want me to talk about, let me know. Just let me know in the comments. Oh, thank you, Daniel. And Bella says that makes total sense to me as a viewer. Yeah. Aww. Bye, Bella. Okay, thank you guys so much. And like I said, if there's something specific that you want me to talk about, or a specific script you'd like to see me cover, pop in the comments. And you can also email me if you don't feel like putting it in the comments. If for whatever reason you have a question you want to ask me personally, feel free to email me. I just put my email in the comments here. It's teawithkey@gmail.com. And that's it. Now I have to get back to work. So, love you all. Thank you for joining me with Tea with Key, and I will see you a week from today. Bye-bye.